Welcome back to the next session of the Centre Court Masters Festival. Now, whatever you studied at undergrad, whether it was psychology, communications, biology, engineering, the MSM is designed for early career candidates like you. And at the Gies College of Business, that means a 9-month intensive STEM designated program that you can even credit if you come back to do your IMBA. Now, to discuss how the program can boost your career potential, I'm delighted to welcome Casey Jones. Casey is the Director of Graduate Recruitment and Admissions at Gies and a recent graduate of the MSM. Robert Walker Jr. Graduated this summer, had done his undergrad at Illinois Urbana-Champaign and in communications and media. There we go, those diverse backgrounds, and now enjoying an exciting new career at Liberty Mutual. Thank you, both of us, for joining us. Perhaps, Casey, before we jump into the program itself, this is one of the top 10 public universities in the country, and a place, where you're enjoying your own career. Tell us a little bit about the school, about Gies, and how it's transforming business education.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Uh, Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us. Matt did a tremendous job introducing this program itself, but Geese Business as a whole has been really on an accelerated and exciting trajectory and journey. I would really say for the past 10 years, particularly with the launch of our online MBA program and a lot of our online offerings, but a lot of that spark and innovation and pre-pandemic. But since then, we've really made an investment in our specialized master's programs, such as the Master of Management, which we're talking about today, which is truly designed for learners coming directly out of their undergrad without full-time experience. So a bit unique in that facet. Everyone in this cohort has less than one year of full-time experience. So we are really leaning on these non-business undergrads with limited to zero full-time experience. As you mentioned, just a 9-month program. So we kind of jam pack it in there, but then come out with tremendous career outcomes, set them on forward for a successful career, but then give them the opportunity to come back and continue their education with Geets through some of our online options as well in the future, utilizing those credits that they earned on campus.
Well, we were saying before we started the recording, my co-host, John Byrne, identified the dean as a dean of the year a couple of years ago in Poets and Quants, and just this revolution that you're bringing to business education. You've got many other options, the MBA, of course, at a later stage, Casey. When we talk about that diversity of background, are there certain things that you're looking for, quant skills, or even a mindset that you know will thrive and flourish in an MSM?
Yeah, I think it's really more about that mindset. We feel pretty confident in teaching you those quantitative skills that are going to be necessary for this degree in particular. It's more about having the business mindset, the ability to work in groups, and the ability to bring your true and authentic self to the program and represent your interests and your background. Again, we're looking for a diverse cohort of students, a cohort that has come from a variety of different academic backgrounds. I think this is a great program for students that are unsure of their career trajectory or maybe have some entrepreneurial aspirations, because we talk a lot about matching your passions, which sometimes converge in your undergraduate degree with that business skill set and really the fundamentals of that business skill set. So we're giving you a little bit of the finance and accounting, a lot of the leadership and teams to be successful in your career.
Now, Robert, I saw you nodding your head. Of course, you've done undergrad at a great school in communications and media. What was it then, as you were, reaching senior year and thinking about skill sets that you thought would really help to then set a course for the next stages of your career? What led you to pursue the MSM?
Absolutely. So, like Casey mentioned, this program is designed really for those who aren't quite sure of where they're going in the next step. And for me, I knew I wanted to go into business of some sort, but I wasn't sure of what skills exactly I was missing at that point. So I went from learning about how to communicate a business idea or pitching those ideas, but I was missing some of those more technical skills, such as accounting and finance. And looking at this program, I seen that it did offer just that for me. And so that's what really led me to the program, to gain some more of the business fundamental as well as combine some of those technical skills within my communication degree as well.
Right now, you could have waited another few years maybe to do an MBA, but this sort of accelerator, to get your business studies at an earlier stage, you've now got this great role at Liberty Mutual. Do you already feel that things that you've learned in the 9 months of the program, you're already applying at work?
Absolutely. So I wasn't quite set on insurance at first. I was able to gain an internship with Liberty Mutual between graduating my communication last May and starting my program in August. So insurance, like I said, wasn't my first top choice, but I ended up loving my internship. I had a great experience with Liberty. I was offered a full-time role during the first semester of my program. So I was quite set on the second semester that I was going into the insurance industry. So that second semester, I was really able to take specializations and concentrations more focused on an organizational focus, whereas a technical focus. But in that first part of the program, I did gain some of those technical skills. As far as the MBA, I did quite wait for that. I knew I didn't have those professional work experience that would make me an ideal candidate for the program. No previous business background as well. And so with this program, I seen that opportunity for that, and I was able to take a part of that.
Well, we were saying earlier just how much that you pack into those 9 months. Tell us a little bit about the program and how you personalized it for your own learning experience. Some of the course, did you have a favorite course, something unexpected?
I did. I had actually two of my favorite courses. One was new product development. So I was able to start with a team. We brainstormed, we prototyped, we put together a project. Mine was Guardian Alert. So we put together a defense tool that was designed for, it was a little compact tool that was designed to spray off intruders. So it had a multifaceted feature to it. So there was a sound alarm on it. There was a pepper spray function, many different features, bringing in some of the other members from the technical management program, MSTM. That class was combined with those students as well. So I had more of an engineering background, putting together some of my management background skills as well. So we was able to brainstorm, prototype, put together a project. At the end, we was able to pitch it to our mission team as well. So that class really helped me gain some more technical skills, work with colleagues from different backgrounds, engineering perspective. I also enjoyed a global marketing. So we looked around the world at different cultures and was able to disrupt the market with business ideas that hadn't quite set in that country yet. So for example, me and my team, we were tasked with Cordoba in Australia. And so Australians, they love their coffee. And so that was a feature that we was able to add to the menu that you might not see in a typical Cordova store. You don't see coffee. So we was able to add that to adapt to the culture in that country. And then we had some members do like Trader Joe's in the UAE. So that sort, I really enjoyed being able to connect with cultures. I already had a cultural communication background, so how to interact with those, but more so of taking that from a marketing perspective and a business perspective and being able to disrupt that environment with that. I think was a pretty cool experience that I
To,
had so
to,
far.
to the four corners of the world. Now, what Robert's describing, Casey, the idea that whether it's experiential learning or to really be able to apply that thinking to a business setting, but also interacting with other parts of the wider university. Is that something in designing the program within Gies that you're very mindful of, that students would then interact with engineering students and other departments?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a while back, a lot of our programs were pretty insular and we did focus on the program and the cohort within that program. But over time, we found true value in expanding those connections, not only across our Geese graduate programs, but also finding opportunities to collaborate with other colleges across campus. Not only does that bring in diversity of thought of different academic disciplines, but also different cultural experiences. Some of our programs do tend to skew a little bit traditionally from this part of the globe or from these particular backgrounds. So the more that we're able to bring those programs together, both in the classroom, but also in some of the outside extracurricular activities, it really allows more of that diversity in all of those opportunities. Our MSM program, however, in particular, does tend to be a little more diverse. It's a great combination of both domestic and international students, and brings in international students from a variety of different countries. So that is something we're very proud of, and like to continue to be an effort and to be a goal of ours when shaping the future cohorts.
Right. We talked about boosting a student's career potential. So alongside all of the courses, how does the program then provide career guidance so that Robert and his classmates, can explore these ideas of product development, marketing, supply chain, everything else? There's a career management center.
Yeah, so we have a full career and professional development team here on campus. Many of those individuals are really specialized and trained in our graduate program. So working with them in a short period of time, understanding that a lot of that hiring or initial hiring does happen in the fall semester. They're trained to begin working with them very early and setting them up for success. We've also started working with some career coaches, which are external experts that come in and can provide, they really have that industry experience and just add an additional layer of support for our students, especially those that are maybe a little undecided or unfamiliar with the options that are available to them.
Right. I often think that careers guidance, Robert, I mean, you said yourself, you came in, not sure of next steps in your career. How were you then able to really benefit from that and get a sense of those passions and interests that Casey was describing to think about the direction that you wanted to take?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say outside of the curriculum, there was a lot of resources that Gies did offer. So the career coaching, I was able to take a part of that opportunity as well. So that was more so resume reviewing, working with you of if some of my colleagues were still in the job search in spring semester as well. So helping them find the job, making sure that they are ready to go for those interviews. There was mock interviews that took place as well. I was fortunate enough to be a part of our leadership council. So that was a leadership opportunity within MSM that was offered. So I was able to meet directly with the faculty and make sure that we're enhancing the student curriculum with that, coming back to them with questions and concerns that students may have as well. So that sort of leadership opportunity was very useful in helping me connect more so with the university and the resources, and then being able to provide those resources to my colleagues and peers as well. I did take a part of the career coaching opportunity as well. And then there was also a course, Professional to Pathways, that I took on Fridays. So that was a time outside of the courses, day-to-day accounting, marketing, leadership, those sorts, that course was just focused on helping students with resumes, those sort of things, finding jobs, those sort of things that you couldn't do during your classwork. It was designated on Fridays so that we'll have that time, which I think was very useful for most of myself and my colleagues as well.
Now, whether it's reading balance sheets or any of the other analytical skills that you develop, were you also then mindful of perhaps more intangible skill, things that you learned about yourself, self-confidence, you talked about leadership pathways, networking. Describe perhaps, what on a personal level, what you were also gaining.
So for as far as the networking, I thought I knew what networking was until I came to Geese, and they really was able to hone in that and teach the art of networking. So there was external events that we had, and there was also internal networking events. But I think the main networking aspect is, and Casey mentioned this, with the program and or the cohort itself being so diverse, I was able to learn about just my colleagues, just being in that setting, connecting with them, learning about their experience from other countries, and learning about their different pathways. So, engineer, architecture, hospitality, from all sorts of different backgrounds. So, being able to learn that was really, I feel like, useful. And actually, it helped with my personal experience as well to really help shape what is my story, what do I have to share with others, and what can I learn from others, and how can I use those experience to help amplify my current standing. I think that was really helpful itself within the program.
Yeah. Casey, you get to meet these candidates in the early stages as they're applying. and then you welcome them into the program, and then boom, within a year, they're graduating and off to exciting new career opportunities. Can you really tell the difference from, the individual that you welcomed and then a level of maturity and self-confidence within a year?
Yeah, I think the confidence is the key thing, especially for our MSM students coming in without that business background. I do think there's a little bit of confidence building. Sometimes we have to convey to students that, maybe you didn't get into business school as an undergrad. It can be quite competitive. And so you took an alternative route. That doesn't mean that graduate business education is not an option for you and that you can't find success. So we do a lot of coaching for that, especially when we're recruiting on our own campus or at smaller schools throughout the state of Illinois. So that's one message that I always like to convey in these type of events. But I think that confidence building is one of the biggest things that we see a significant growth in, and are really excited from the day they arrive on campus, or maybe even previous in their admissions interview, up till graduation. Just kind of radiating that confidence and success is always rewarding for our staff and our faculty, of course.
And in terms of some of the different career outcomes, Robert's got his own story, but across different industries, Casey, and so sharing some of the class of 2024 and what they're now doing, but also feedback perhaps from employers. Do they see qualities in Gies graduates, and they sort of come back to you and say, we love this aspect of
Yeah,
your program?
absolutely. Some of our graduates go on to traditional business roles as analysts and consultants. Management roles are popular with this degree in particular, of course. Some are going on to traditional firms like RSM or one of the big four consulting firms. But we also again see those non-traditional roles, and I think those are always my favorite success stories of combining that passion. We have a hospitality undergrad that's now went on to work for the Chicago Bulls. TikTok and some of the kind of trendier or more fun type of jobs always stand out as well. But again, our career services is there to help coach individuals on not only finding the right opportunities for them, but ensuring that they're conveying their own strengths through their resume, through their oral and written communications when applying for those positions as well. From the employer feedback, we've heard nothing but positive things about our graduates, and kind of always that story of how can we get more like this individual, that have those good communication skills like Robert and others. That is, the technical skills can be trained, but those good communication skills, the ability to work in teams, is something that's often missing. And I think our students have a strong strength in that.
Right. If you were to go back, Robert, to day one, and you've started the program, not quite aware of the intensity of the 9 months that would follow, what advice would you give to yourself to then navigate the program, optimize not just the courses, but I'm sure beyond the classroom, so many clubs and activities and opportunities. What would you have given yourself as advice?
Yeah, so there was one thing that I took from before we start the program. We have about a 2 week orientation that is designed to help us onboard us. And so within that, there was, never forget Professor Warnick. He was like, you're in business school now, grades don't matter. You're here for the experience. And that is really something that stuck with me from day one. And it was more so about the experience and what I was getting out the program. And not so, although the grades did come, like he said they would, but it was more so focused on the experience. What am I learning? And as I would use an example, accounting and finance, had no idea of it. What it was. I knew what it was, but it wasn't my strong suit. And I knew that that would be one of the struggles for me going into the program. But I was able to understand the language and know how to speak it. I know how to read a cash flow. I know what some of those things are, stocks and bonds, now because of the program, because I was able to really take a part of the experience part. Um, Learn from others that knew more about it in the program as well, and not so much focus on just getting the grade. I really used that experience, and I took that advice from Professor Warning. Don't worry about the grades, worry about the experience, and the rest will follow. And that really helped me, and that's something that why I'm here now and why that experience was great for me.
Yeah. But you talk about, what are your strong suits? And to pick up on something that you said earlier, Casey, about, individuals, we all have our passions and areas of interest and being able to identify that. When you're meeting candidates for the program, what advice do you have for them in terms of finding the right program, of course, at the right stage in their career, but also the right school and culture where they are really going to thrive and flourish?
Yeah, I think it's really about doing your research and having the conversations. You have to go beyond the rankings, beyond the top 10 schools that show up when you do a Google search, and identify what are your priorities? What are you looking for out of a school, and how does the school and or program fit my needs and fit my interests? Is it a cultural fit? Is the curriculum going to provide what I'm looking for? I think you hit it spot on, Matt. It's the program and the school as a whole, because while you're going to be studying a lot, we're very hopeful that you're also taking advantage of all the things that the university has to offer, and the campus and the community. And so all of that is important. Certainly reach out to admissions and recruitment teams. We want to talk to you. If we don't, if those teams don't want to talk to you, maybe it's not the right school for you. Reach out to current students and alums. I think they're going to provide you the best insight really from the student perspective. Attend, if there's opportunities to attend sample lectures with faculty, if there's opportunities to visit campus, either in person or virtually, if that's not available, all of that's incredibly important. I think it's also really important to do that research prior to applying. We do see candidates that want to hit the round one admission deadlines, but then maybe their application isn't as complete as it could have been because they haven't done the research on the program. That is something that we are looking for in applications, is that this is the right fit for the candidate. They've done their research. They know a little bit about us. I can spot an AI written essay within the first sentence. So we are looking to learn about you in the application process, and we do want it to be authentic. So make sure you're putting some effort into that, and that includes the research you've done on the school and program.
Right. And great ambassadors like Robert, who's sharing his story. Presumably also the alumni network. I mean, give us a sense, Casey, of just how big that network is, and across many, many different industries across the country and across the world.
Yeah, and I should probably know that number off the top of my head, but it's escaping me right now. The alumni network is big. It's one of our strategic priorities over the next year to 5 years, is continued growth and strengthening of our alumni network. With the expansion of our online programs, it's just continued to grow. And again, in the depth and breadth of those students as well. These are experienced learners. They're asking about the alumni network before, while they're exploring programs, because they understand the importance of it. We're working on ways, how can we connect our current online students that, maybe already have 15 to 20 years of experience with our on-campus students, and let that be a mentorship opportunity, and then let it grow and flourish in the alumni phase for both sets of individuals as well. So I think that's incredibly important. Again, you can kind of get the feel from an alum of how they've been treated both through the program and post-graduation pretty quickly by having those conversations. So if your alums aren't energized, your student population might not be as energized either. So that group is incredibly important.
Yeah, and Robert, now you are part of that alumni network already. During the program itself, was that a great resource? Individuals that may be themselves, 5, 10 years into their career or into a particular industry, to then provide those mentorship roles or guidance as you're thinking about your next steps.
Absolutely. So, Casey, I do know that number. I was a tour guide during my undergraduate experience, and as of 2023, Illinois did reach over 500,000 plus alumni. So a huge network.
After 500,000, you stop counting, right?
Stop counting, right. And so huge alumni network. And I found that both during my undergrad and graduate, specifically with graduate was more focused on Gies alums, which had the opportunity to connect with, network with, which is a great opportunity. Many would come back, share their experiences, and some we had online webinars where we were able to join, learn about their experience, what they're doing with their companies now, which was super cool. In one of my programs, it was leadership and teams. One of our professors was able to bring back an active alumni from BP who came and spoke to us from a communication standpoint with the company. So a lot of different ways we were able to interact with alum, and I think it's a huge network. I'm now a part of that. I'm happy to contribute back to students and the alumni network in the best way I can as well.
Now you've landed this great job with Liberty Mutual. Do you also feel that the guidance that you got in networking, you said, it just took networking to a whole new level. But this is the first step coming out of school as part of, the next 10, 20, 30 years of your career. Were you very mindful about building a career rather than just focusing on the first job coming out of school?
Absolutely, I was. And like I mentioned in the beginning, insurance wasn't my top choice. After my internship, I was really able to really focus on what it means to be in insurance. Getting a full-time role, I was able to dedicate more so of my courses towards that organizational focus. Now that I'm in my career, I'm realizing that there's many opportunities within the insurance industry that I can go, where I'm currently a claims specialist, and I'm learning the foundation of what it's like to be a claims adjuster. And I do see there's opportunity for growth within the company. And that's where I'm most excited about using the skills that I've developed to experience other roles within the company. And so that's something that I'm really excited about that helped with my program, helped with networking as well from other organizations.
Casey, we were talking earlier, the school itself was prepared, in the last 10 years to take a deep, hard look at itself and think about, its place with the future of business education and careers that Robert and others would be following. How do you then, with AI and big data and healthcare, everything moving so quickly, how do you then ensure that the program, the learning will reflect the future of work?
Yeah, we're really excited. We have a whole unit, and I always, Robert's going to help me out. No, I'm just kidding. But we have a whole unit in the college that is dedicated to content development, redesign, forward thinking. And I think that's pretty unique and forward thinking in itself. So they are in constant review of our current curriculum, but also what new is needed and emerging. So just this week, I've seen new open content on the Coursera platform. So not yet a 4-credit course, but open content related to sustainability in business, a new 4-credit course, but also that has an open content option in AI and disruptive technologies in business. So we're continuing to be on the forefront of that. We were on the forefront when data analytics really emerged. That the STEM designation has a kind of shows the college's commitment to that. But I think we're in a really great place where we're comfortable with those fundamental skills, ensuring that content is still relevant there, but always forward thinking in both the way we teach in the way we teach the curriculum, but the curriculum itself. Both from a staffing and a faculty perspective.
As you were thinking, Robert, coming out of senior year, and just a conception of what business school might be like, were there any surprises or a revelation? So I had this in mind, and this is actually reality. You mentioned, don't worry about grades, but just as you sort of went through the program, things that you had not expected.
Well, I thought going into it that I would just, especially at a master's level or graduate level, I thought that I would need to have several business fundamentals behind my name or credentials, those sort of things. But I realized easily early on that I was able to gain those through my program. I didn't have much business background. I did have a passion for business. I wanted to go into business for my undergraduate degree. Unfortunately, that wasn't the route that I landed. So I decided to go with a communication focus, more so geared towards business communication. And so going into the program, I thought that I needed all these business skills. And I realized quickly within 9 months that I was able to gain some of those business skills that I needed for my future, for my program that was given to me. And then I was really able to understand the business culture and what is that like, and then how to speak business language. I think those two things really helped me within that first 9 months, that I'm excited to continue to expand on as I go into my career now.
Yeah, because I mean, it can be inhibiting thinking, it's business school for me. So
Yeah.
your words of encouragement, you've made a great success of it. What
Yeah.
would your words of encouragement be to our viewers from all over the world, thinking about that next step, making that investment in themselves and saying, yeah, go do it.
You took the words right out. Go do it. Just apply. And it's really so you're able to shape your journey too. And that's what I think is really the most beneficial aspect of it. The first semester, we were really understanding what business like, gaining those really hard skills, those technical skills. But then that second semester, it was really able of what we want out of the program. Where do we see ourselves in the next 5 months, next 5 years, and then be able to take those courses that's designed for that of what we want to get out of it, I think was really crucial. And really so in that second semester, I was able to hone in of what I want to do and what I want to get out of business. Whereas this is what you have to do with your business degree.
Yeah. Now, I am confident that people will be watching this. They'll want to reach out. So, Casey, you talked about, hey, maybe you can audit a class, but first steps, maybe with the website, and then you were saying how available the team is, to really talk with candidates. So what would be the next steps for our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, visiting the website, exploring the options that are there. We're really building up our video content, testimonials from current students and alums like Robert. Also, we have generally about a weekly webinar that gives a 30-minute snapshot of the program. Often we'll invite in the program director or a student or alum to join those as well. So if you'd like to sign up for our email list, we'd be happy to let you know anytime those opportunities are coming up. We do one-on-one admissions counseling. So schedule a time, have a conversation about your interests, what you're looking to get out of a program, or maybe, maybe it's that frank conversation that you're really not sure, and our team's happy to provide some guidance there. I encourage you to connect directly with our student ambassadors. We have their contact information available on the website. You can chat back and forth via email or schedule a time to meet with them as well. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have the opportunity to chat via WhatsApp, which is really exciting, especially for our international applicants. We've kind of heard that request loud and clear. So excited to have that. We'll have a new chatbot rolling out as well. So if you've got basic questions that you're not quite ready to talk to a human, that'll be available in the coming weeks.
And maybe just a final word, Robert. I'm sure everyone would love to have the campus visit, but just life, the campus, there's the fun you've studied, but it must have been a fun year too.
It was. And so as far as I just want to reiterate what Casey was mentioning, as far as like the Gies ambassadors, those sort of things, even though I was on campus, I still took part in those resources that was offered. I still attended webinars to learn about the program, see what was going on the inside. I scheduled one-on-one meetings with the ambassadors where I was able to learn about their experience. I was able to talk to alumni, reaching out on LinkedIn, just asking them about their experience. Hey, I see that you took this program. I'm just got accepted. What is it like? So gaining their experience and hearing about that was really useful. As far as the campus life, that's one reason what really drove me to stay around. I was a transfer student, so I only had 2 years on campus. So I knew that 2 years was not enough for me. I wanted to go back, get that Gies degree, and stay on campus. There's so many different resources and opportunities outside of Gies and the other colleges as well that the university has, from football games, sporting events, those sort of things, to taking more so in RSOs, which are registered student organizations. There are over 1,000 of those to join from. So things like Squirrel Watching Club, Oktoberfest, those sort of things. So it can get as creative as you want or as more academic focused as you want as well. So there's tons of things to do outside of the college. And there was not a day I can say that I was bored on the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign campus.
And I think you've announced a first on Centre Court, a squirrel watching club at business school.
Yes.
You talked about the ambassadors and the role that they play. Both of you were great ambassadors for your school. It was great to have you with us and share that passion and enthusiasm. Good luck with your flourishing career at Liberty Mutual. Casey, it was fantastic to have you with us. Thank you both.